Matthew. What the crap is going on? He's 1 minute late? Is air ever really late? Or does air always arrive precisely when he means to? Which in this case was late. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna be doing some multiplayer battles tonight, and it should be fun. What I'm gonna have you all do, and I didn't think about this ahead of time, which I should have. I should have had you all message me your build. That way I know that you're not just picking a build once you see someone on screen winning. So, I gotta think about this for a second. But yeah, what I was hoping was that I don't even think I was going to play tonight. I wanted to see what you all were going to do. I was going to spectate and host, comment, kind of be the annoying sports commentator, you know, that tells you the obvious stuff like, if this team's going to win, they're going to have to score more points than the other team today. You know, stuff like that. Okay, I won't be that annoying. But anyway, yeah, I was going to do the commenting, have you all do the playing, and hopefully we'll have some fun. And what we'll do is we will see how many matches someone can win. Give me just a second, I got to plug a USB in. Do you all ever dream of that moment when you're trying to plug in a USB and you just line it up right the first time and it goes straight in the slot and you don't have to like sit there and bump it and look around and feel stupid? You actually just plug it in right for once. That would be amazing. All right, so here's the rules. I'm gonna go ahead and host the first battle. It won't really matter in the first battle, I guess, you know, like even if someone does kind of cheat and make their army in such a way that it's a reaction to the other person, they have to use the exact same army. So these are going to be 1v1 battles. I'm going to let 2 players join. The 2 players are going to fight a battle, and the winner of the battle stays. You have to keep using the same army. So whatever army it is that you're bringing, make sure that it is something that you think is viable in a lot of scenarios, right? So like I said, maybe you do come in and you think you're being sneaky and you break the rules and you just counter build someone. Well, the next person may do that to you, but either way, both of you get stuck with that build. So you're going to keep playing that build. So like, for instance, if someone picks the dwarves and you're like, oh, I'm going to pick a bunch of chariots, well, good luck. Your next game might be a bunch of chariots coming up in the face of a bunch of dragon ogres or something like that. It wouldn't be pretty. So that's how we're going to play this tonight. 1v1s, you all join, I spectate and host, and I'll do the commentary for those who are watching, and we'll just see who can put on the best winning streak here, okay? Have some fun with it. We've got a couple of hours, so get your builds ready. Have them, like, you can save them in the custom build screen. The funds, it's just going to be large funds, like your typical ladder battle. And the only rules that I have, it's going to be unit caps on. Okay, so you can't just pick like 7 Krells and come to the battle. All right, you know there is going to be unit caps. The battle is Air's battle. The password is one. Oh, whoops! I already mishosted it. So give me just a second. Let's do a multiplayer battle. Host game as spectator. All right, so I'm going to host this one as the spectator. And we'll do the 1v1. I'm going to make sure I go pick a real map rather than this awful one that it defaults to. We'll start out on Gorgazon. It'll be a pretty good map. So, you all can join. It's Air's battle. The password is 1. And like I said, it's going to be 1v1. You come in, have your armies ready, so go build them ahead of time in the custom battle screen. And once you have your army built, then you load it up, and if you win, you stay. And if you don't win, you can wait, and maybe you'll get another chance to come back in. Though you'll need to pick a different army if you do come back in. So that's how we're going to play it. So again, pick your army, you play your army, and we're just going to see who can get the most wins in a row. Looks like we got Tuso Forever trying to join, but it's happening really slow, so hopefully the game isn't already bugged, which would be brilliant. But not impossible, you know? Let's see. Yeah, I'm on Do Not Disturb, so I am visible. Yeah, the lobby's bugged. That's what it looks like. I'm going to restart my game real quick, folks. Give me just a second. But I'll explain the rules one more time while I'm restarting it for those who are just joining in. I'm going to be hosting battles as the spectator host, and you all can join them. You have your army ready, so go into your custom battle screen, build an army, get it ready to be loaded, because we want to have as many battles as we can, right? We don't want to have a long time rebuilding it, so get it ready, save it. When you come into the lobby, load your build. If you win, you stay, and you play against the next person, but you have to keep using the same army. So that's the challenge. It needs to be an army that you think is going to be somewhat flexible for you, okay? So here I am. I'm going to host the game as a spectator again. And hopefully not get the lobby bugged out here. Alright. So I have it hosted. I'm going to get unit caps turned on. Zealot has joined in. And we're going to go back to... And we have XMT Katam, however you say it. So welcome both. Did you all hear the rules? I'm assuming yes. And I'm going to load a map. I just gotta load the map up there, ready to go. Sweet, these guys were ready. I'll do Gorgazon, because that was the one I was gonna do. Same army for King of the Hill, awesome. Yeah, I've heard Turin like hosting King of the Hill, but I've never watched them. Is it the same format essentially that we're doing here? I've never actually watched any of the King of the Hill. But now that I'm thinking about the name, I can see that being similar to what we're doing. Alright, so Gorgazon. We got a good game coming up here. And like I said, I'm just here to host it. Let you all have fun watching it. The winner stays, and let's just see who can rack up some wins. Figured this would be a fun format tonight. It'll get a whole bunch of battles, and if we have some good ones, then it'll give me some fun stuff to record for the next week as well. And then rather than trying to have the stream be a spotlight on me, the stream can be a spotlight on you all, which is a win. Alright. Yeah. Ooh. It's gonna be fun. So Wood Elves versus Chaos in Battle 1. Wood Elves versus Chaos. So Zealot versus Katam. And I will start commenting on the units and stuff when the battle starts, just in case these two players are still listening to the stream, which is totally fine. If you're listening to the stream, it's fine. I won't talk through any army builds until it begins. That way I don't spoil anything in case someone's listening. Alright. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. Just looking at the units here. Yeah. It's gonna be a good time. Alright, battle has begun. Alright, so Chaos vanguarded some Marauder Horsemen. Marauder Horse Masters, which... always good to have some Jav Cav when you're Chaos. Orion deployed right in the face of the enemy as well. He is just going, like, all out, straight in. I wonder if he's trying to draw a blob. I think there's a pendulum on the Branch Wraith. Ooh, those archers, they are going to shred. These are warriors with great weapons, so they do not have shields. Basically, the Wood Elves are employing a hit-and-run cavalry archer build here. Ooh, those Stag Knights took a lot of damage on that charge. We do not have the cavalry beta. We are playing in the base version of the game right now, so there is no cavalry beta. So I don't know how or if that would impact anything. Yeah, look at this, trying to single out some units over here. But there are Chaos Knights chasing up. There was the Pendulum. So it does indeed appear that maybe Orion was attempting a bait there. Archaon is the leader for Chaos. And looks like he's got Burning Head and Bombardment there. Oh yeah, here comes the Burning Head. Well placed. Well placed. Gets a lot of damage done on at least one archer. The other Deepwood Scout fell back a little bit. Orion's taken a little bit of damage. Now these warriors with great weapons are going to absolutely own in melee. But what the Wood Elves are counting on is that they need to get rid of the mobility for Chaos, and then they try and expend their ammunition and cycle charge their enemy into defeat. So Chaos will need to be very careful with their horsemen, because they're going to be very, very important to the effort. We've got the ethereal Lost Sylvan Knights here, which, in my opinion, is one of the coolest units in the game. I like Stag Knights a lot, and ethereal Stag Knights are even more cool, especially glowing green, you know, in a very wood elfy color. Someone's saying there's not audio. Nikki, it must be something on your end. I listened to the recording back the other night, and there's other people saying they can hear it. If anybody else besides Nikki has an audio issue, let me know. Nikki says she can hear it now. That's good. We can't have the wealthiest salt penny owner not hearing the stream here. Alright, so Archaon is tanking around. Let's kind of get a look at the battlefield. It still shows very, very close. Under half ammo, though, for the remaining Deepwood Scouts. There's still some mobility here for Chaos. They have a couple of Marauder Horsemasters. They have Archaon. Ooh, here comes a bombardment. Chaos is going to want to vacate that. And they mostly do there. So Orion's bombardment not able to connect with a ton of units there. I like the Wood Elf build. It can be very... I think it could be useful against potentially a lot of different factions. It takes some skill to play. I would botch it. Like, there's definitely no way I could play the Wood Elf build, right? But I do like the build in the sense that it has the damage dealing component with the archers, it has the speed with the cavalry, and it has just a little bit of infantry to hold things still. Orion is a very tanky lord. He can cause some anti-large damage. He has his javelins. He can do a little bit of ranged work. I think clearly he's meant maybe for blob bait, and then he uses his hounds and bombardments. I think just the bombardment. I don't think he's brought the hounds. He does have the Horn of the Wild Hunt too, which I believe gives extra charge to all units. Looks like the power bar is shifting in favor of Chaos at this point, and that is probably understandable. You still have some Eternal Guard over here, but they're going to have a rough time cutting down that infantry. And there's just not a lot of ammunition left. And you've got another knight charging in here. Archaon is being held out of the archers, if only just. Looks like Orion's coming in to try and stop him. Orion can get some healing when he gets down real low. Archaon is a tank, and Orion is also a tank. He just got an Earthblood, but he is very low on hit points right now. But that healing just kicked in for Orion, so he's picking up... Or, no, that may just be the Earthblood. I thought I saw him start picking up hit points a lot faster. May have just been Earthblood. It's this ability right here. 8 hit points per second whenever... Okay, yeah, it's permanent. Never mind. Okay, I was expecting something more like the Phoenix. I'm off here. Yep, there goes Orion. So, Orion is sent back to the forest as fertilizer. And it looks like Zealot is going to pull out the win here with Chaos. That was actually a pretty close battle, all things considered. Chaos did not have a ton of forces left there. Yeah, you can see Chaos obviously took more losses, but they had more troops, so basically they're able to outlast the Wood Elves there. That was a fun battle. Appreciate both players. Let's take a look at some of the value here. Archaon did a pretty bang-up job here with 3273 on the damage value, which is pretty darn good. Darn good. So it's the 1 Horse Master and the 2 Standard Marauders. Let's take a look at Orion. Orion had 1611. The Sylvan Knights at 1648. Here we had a great Stag Knight at 1749. The Stag Knights would certainly be one of the units that you need to cause a lot of that damage, and one of them did for sure. Let's take a look at the Deepwood Scouts. I mean, both of the Deepwood Scouts definitely went beyond their value in terms of, I think, the cost, but they just weren't able to turn the entire battle. But hey, great game between Zealot and Katam there. So Zealot has 1 win, and if you are ready to come challenge Zealot's army here, you come in and load up. I'm gonna try and get his army off the screen. I'll go over here. No, how do I get his army off the screen now? Whoops. Anyway, I have his army on the screen. I can turn on the army blocker. There we go. So, Hammond, and for anybody else who's wondering, you can come join the game. The game is called Heirs. I believe it's just Heirs Battle. The password is 1. It's basically if you win, you stay format. It's 1v1. Unit caps are on. Have your army ready. Go into the custom battle screen. Build your army. When you get in here, load it, and we're just going to jump into the next fight. So Hammond is joining in, but that's the setup. So you basically, you join in, you pick an army. If you win, you have to keep using that army. So we don't get to pick a different army. Whatever army you pick, it's yours. You pick it, you own it. And you're going to keep playing it if you win. If you lose, then the winner stays. If you win, then you're the winner and you stay. So, if you don't have your army built the first time you load in, it's okay. But it would be better if you all want to play, if you go into the custom battle screen right now while you're listening, and go ahead and build your army and save it, so you can just load your army up and play. Okay? So that's how we are going to roll today. It's like everybody is ready, so I'm going to start the battle. This one is going to be Chaos versus Empire. Zealot has 1 win, and he's going to go for a second. So again, if you want to play, get into that custom battle screen now, and go ahead and load your army, and then save it. That way you'll be ready to join in, and we can just keep going. If you lose, and we don't have enough people joining, you can come back in and play, but you have to have a different army ready for the second time, okay? That way we're not just coming back with the same one. But if you did already play and lose, and you want to hang around for another opportunity, you might get it. So go ahead and build another army, and you'll have a chance maybe to join in again later. So like I said, we'll kind of wait and see. If we start running out of people to join, either I can join, or we can have someone else play a second time. Killscribe, thanks for being here tonight. Ain't no meeting. Appreciate you being a channel supporter. Nikki, you too. Long-time channel supporter for both of them. Same with Anthony. Appreciate it, Anthony. Trantor, same for you. Long-time channel member. Regina, great to have you tonight. Zero, good to see you. Tuso, thanks for being here tonight. Hope you're still here. I know he was here earlier. Hammond, appreciate you joining this match. Zealot, of course. Thanks for jumping in and playing. Let's see. Say hi to some other people here. Space Penguin, Daniel, Evil Jungle, Godwin, Matthew. I was teasing Matthew at the start because he left me a funny comment. Thank you all for being here tonight. Andrew says, hey, Air from New Zealand. I wanted to know your thoughts on siege battles and the fact that you can only attack in one direction in Warhammer as opposed to earlier Total Wars. Well, I mean, let's take a look at Total War Troy. A Total War Saga Troy. Get the name right. The siege battles in Troy, the maps are much prettier. you can attack from all sides. I think they're better designed. The siege battles in Troy to me are still boring. They're only fun when you have mythical units and siege towers, both of which take a while to get. So the map is a piece of the problem, I think, for a siege battle to be interesting. And so we certainly want to see bigger and more interesting maps. But I think there's going to take more than that. Like, I think they're going to have to come up with more mechanics and just more things to make that interesting. So obviously we know the army we're going to see for Chaos. And I'm going to wait till the battle starts. Yep, there it is. So we've got the battle started. So 3 Pistoliers over here for Hammond. He's got some Flagellants, Halberds. There's a Great Sword, another Flagellant and Halberd crew. Looks like some War Wagons, of all things, and a Steam Tank. War Wagons. Are War Wagons still meme wagons? And he's got Balthasar Gelt, so welcome to Estalia, gentlemen. Welcome to Estalia. Balthasar Gelt is here. He does have Final Transmutation, and then basically the Arcane Conduit, or it's Greater Arcane Conduit with him, I don't remember. Let's see, the Pistoliers doing some skirmishing with the Marauder Horsemaster, or Horseman. Ooh, they don't want to get caught. Oh, this is bad. This is bad for Hammond right here. Oh, he's getting caught. Big boo-boo over here for Hammond. His troops get caught. The Chaos Warriors with great weapons are going to just cut a gaping maw through the middle of the Empire infantry, even the great swords. So Balthasar... Oh, was this on purpose? Did he want a Final Transmutation on them? I don't think it does quite as good, though, as it would against a single entity target, especially like Archaon, because he can't heal. It's definitely a a clock right now, like a countdown, because the infantry for Chaos will cut through. It's just a matter of time. So Hammond is on the clock now to get some damage done, because that Chaos infantry is not going to be stopped unless something else intervenes. Here comes the Burning Head here by Archaon. He's going to get rid of the Flagellants quickly. I like that call. They're low armor, and they're unbreakable. Balthasar had dived down in there. Oh my gosh, Balthasar is going to get... Yeah, he ran away. I was like, Balthasar better run. The Slayer of Kings. Yeah, that would have been like a 2-shot death for Balthasar if he hadn't gotten away to victory, or to safety. The War Wagons are now caught by Archaon, and he's going to chew them up in a big hurry. Look at this over here. This is a Marauder with great weapon. Okay, I was like, well, those Halberds are winning. It was a Marauder. Another Final Transmutation, again on the Cavalry. I would have expected to see those on Archaon to help chip away at his health. War Wagon's caught. The Steam Tank still can be shooting. Let's see how the frontline fight is going. The Sigmar Sons are holding, but eventually they'll collapse. These Spearmen aren't going to be able to hold long. So as expected, the Chaos Infantry is choppy. It's going to find its way through. Just a matter of time. So Hammond has got to do the damage with his specialty units if he wants to win this. I think it's going to be rough. Like, if I had to venture a guess here, he's got an uphill fight ahead of him. What do you all think? I think Chaos is a pretty tough match for the Empire, honestly. I think Chaos has really great mobility. They have some solid anti-large. They've got decent magic. They have decent horsemen, if needed. Whether it's for speed and javelins. They have a heavier variant. I don't know how well they do against the Empire, but their infantry is just superior to the Empire. And then they've got hounds, the Marauders. Like, personally, I feel like Chaos has a lot of things that would make the Empire sweat a little bit, in my opinion. War Wagons have always been great against SEMs. They're even better now, though. So much AP damage. That's interesting. I didn't know War Wagons had been improved much. So they're an anti-SEM tool. Well, I mean, it makes sense looking at their missile strength there. A lot of armor piercing. Have to test that one out at some point, now that you mentioned it, Regina. Archaon has no mercy. No, he doesn't. He is the Lord of the End Times. And it looks like it is the end times for the Empire at this point. Archaon and his knights have tied down the tank. Got some steaming action going on here. Steamy. Hot and steamy. Alright, Hammond concedes defeat. He was definitely not going to be able to pull out of that one, but thanks for joining, Hammond, and good fight, sir. I do like that Empire army. I mean, it may not be the world. I'm saying this from the standpoint of, like, I like it. I have no idea whether it's real competitive from, like, a tournament scene. But I love Balthasar, and I love steam tanks, and the war wagons. It takes real spine, in my opinion, to be bringing war wagons to these battles, because they may be good at certain things, like Regina says. I would just be terrible at using them and scared to use them. So, but yeah, it was fun. So thank you, Hammond. Balthasar not able to get a ton of value out of that battle. I kind of feel like maybe those final transmutations should have been popped off on Archaon, because he can't heal, which is definitely one of the downsides for Chaos. Like, let's say that, for instance, you had a Hammer of Witches in this army. Like, it could do a lot of damage to Archaon, and then you couple that with final transmutation. You know, just saying, Empire has some tools, but I feel like that that Chaos is definitely a pretty solid match for the Empire when it comes to multiplayer. I think there's a lot of things that they bring to the table that the Empire could struggle to counter in the right situations. But the Empire is just one of those factions that, you know, and obviously in this format, you just got to take whatever pick you get. Archaon, once again, turning out pretty solid performance. Good performance from the Knights. So Zealot's army is up to 2 wins. So who's going to come challenge him next? Someone needs to come in and challenge Zealot. We'll go ahead and go to Glacial Lake. This map's not too bad. It's a small one. Should be fine for 1v1. So someone come join in. Again, when you come join in, it's best if you've gone to the custom battle screen first and built your army and saved it. That way you can just come in and load it, and we can get as many battles in as possible. Here comes Sly Soldier, 18. So he's going to be the next challenger up. I'm not going to click on anybody's army. That way I can't see what they've picked. Obviously I know what Zealot's picked because you keep your army. Sly Soldier is loaded up, so I'm going to ready up as well. Move on to the next one. If y'all are enjoying this tonight, let me know what you think in the chat. I figured this would be fun, just to see what people come up with. And like I said, if we end up running out of people to play, I can always jump in. I don't have an army ready, but I'll build something. I should have had an army ready, but I don't. Space Penguin likes it. Oh, the room name and password, Quang Win. It's Air's Battle, and the password is 1. Air's Battle, the password is 1. So, yeah, if anybody wants to get ready to join, go ahead and go to that custom battle screen, build your army, save it, and then whenever it gets time. Alright, looks like people like the format. And like I said, I may be inadvertently ripping off the format from someone else. I've never seen this format from someone else, but I'm sure it exists. And like I said, now that, you know, I see like Turin's announcements for King of the Hill, this very well could be King of the Hill. It would make sense, right? You're trying to knock someone off, see who wins. But yeah, I've never seen this format before. It probably exists. If it does, you all can tell me who's doing something similar so that we can call them out here, and it doesn't feel like I'm just trying to rip something off. But, you know, I just was thinking of ideas for tonight, figured this would be fun. And I doubt that there's many formats of tournament or play that people haven't tried in this game. Katam says Rubber Duck of War hosts them a lot. Hey. Sleep, gay. Rubber Duck hosts them, but they're more tourney-like than King of the Hill style. That makes sense. And like I said, the only rules I have are just the unit caps. Some people probably have a few extra rules beyond that they play by, like some tournament build rules. Let's look at the new Challenger army. This is Sly Soldier with Nakai the Wanderer, Krakatoa, and he is backed up by the Star Chamber Guardians, Saurus Scar Veteran, a Bastiladon Revivification Crystal, Croak, Saurus Warriors, Chameleon Skinks, more Saurus Warriors. So, going to be a bit of a heavy infantry slug out here. Croak can certainly delete infantry, but his spells do take a minute to go off. So that's something that the lizards will want to be careful of. It's possible there may be some skirmish play here. Yeah, look, the Chaos Warriors are just kind of running back, And the Chameleon Skinks are not in a good position at the moment to punish this cavalry. So they may try for a bit of javelin skirmishing here, and that makes sense. Javelins aren't specifically anti-large. They do pretty good missile damage and come out in pretty high numbers. And they're definitely getting some money's worth right now. If you got the javelins, you might as well throw them, you know? Happy Javelin Day. Right, here comes Krakatoa, swinging his golf club. He's going for a birdie here. So the fight begins. Croak did a deliverance of Itza here, but there were no units present. They must have moved. What I kind of expected, since deliverance of Itza doesn't actually hurt friendlies, was I kind of expected the lizards to let a fight get started. Ooh, boy, Slayer of Kings. Nakai the Wanderer is in some big trouble here. He's in some big trouble. Here comes another shot from I think it's a shot from Croak, but we've also got the Shield of the Old Ones. No? I thought there was a Deliverance of Itza coming in, but I haven't seen it. It may have canceled because Croak is in melee. Saurus Warriors would clearly be a match for the Marauders, but they would not be a match for the Warriors with great weapons. They would do better than some of the infantry we've seen. Saurus Warriors deal high weapon damage. It's not specifically AP. There's a Deliverance of Itza for Croak. Manages to clear out some of those warriors. And it does look like Nakai was dropped. I think this is his croc corpse laying on the ground right here. If anybody needs a new suitcase or a nice pair of boots, some very durable skin. You know, if anybody in Chaos is planning some travel in the near future. Got a burning head here from Archaon. It does a nice job of plowing through those Saurus warriors. This would be a beautiful place for a Deliverance of Itza right here, but there may not be enough magic. We've already seen a couple of them from Croak. But that's the kind of blob you're looking for right there. Instead, it's going to try and go off on the horsemen. They don't move. It's going to do some damage, but you definitely want to put those Deliverance of Itzas off on the biggest blob and the most tightly packed blob. The low-level Deliverance does less armor-piercing damage, and the high-level has a bigger radius and does more armor-piercing damage. Here's Croak Daddy fighting against Archaon. I love Croak's animations, looks so cool, but unfortunately for Croak, it is a Javelin Day celebration, and he is the pinata, so to speak, or just pin cushion. I'm surprised he's lived this long. I'm impressed, Croak. I'm impressed. There goes Croak. And Zealot is up 3-0 with his army here. It's up 3-0. It may not necessarily be a rehost. Is it Quang Win? Sorry if I can't pronounce it right. It could just be your region. Like, sometimes the Steam region make the room not visible. I'm not really sure. I'm in the Steam region on Dallas, I believe, US and Dallas. Let's take a look at these real quick. So Croak wasn't able to get the value that he needed there to pull out the win. Nakai just got a little bit overwhelmed. Got up with Archaon. When Archaon pops that Slayer of Kings, it gets ugly. He becomes a very powerful melee combatant at that point. He got a good score in this one, and the Lizards just weren't able to put the damage out. They were doing okay early on in the infantry fight, and I kind of expected to see Croak's Deliverance go off on like some key infantry fight locations to try and clear out some of it early and provide a means to go through. But and then the Scar Veteran could have helped against Archaon because he has anti-large. But nice try from Sly Soldier. Appreciate him joining. It looks like we have Pufflix in next. And we're going to have Zealot. He's attempting for his 4th win here, and Pufflix is going to come in and make the challenge. See if he can become the new stay and play, win and stay. I don't know, whatever. I'd have to come up with some name for it, but I'd probably just, like I said, someone's probably already come up with this, and so I don't want to steal someone's thing here. I got to pick a new map. Let's go with Troll Country. It's a pretty fair map. So here we go, Troll Country. All right. Pufflick says I haven't built to beat you. Well, that's not the objective, right? The objective isn't just to be watching and build a counter to the person who's winning, because then whatever counter you built might get countered by someone else's, so it wouldn't make much sense. The goal here is just for you to bring an army you like and see how well you can do with it. Someone bring this dude down, we'll see. He's on a good run here. Zealot is trying for number 4. Pufflick's sounded a little bit worried based on his comment there. Like, it sounds like he's a little bit worried that his army may not be set up well. Stop this. When we think about the matchup between Coast and Chaos, both factions are kind of slow in terms of infantry. Chaos is obviously quite quick in terms of cavalry ogres, or dragon ogres, that type of thing. And then, of course, the Coast relies on their ranged damage, as their infantry isn't really going to do much unless it was Depth Guard, and Depth Guard would get absolutely crushed by warriors with great weapons. That would not be a good match for them, because the Depth Guard don't have the same armor-piercing capability that Chaos does. You definitely have monsters and magic available to the Coast as well, and indeed we have Silostra here on the big crab. The crab is also good against infantry, can help break up some blobs. There are some Sirens here, which are going to do... Well, I'm calling out the army ahead of time. Whoops. Well, I guess they're going to face each other one way or the other, though, at this point. So we've got some Sirens here for Pufflicks. There's some Fellbats and Deck Droppers, so we'll see how this one plays out. I won't call out everything here. Let's take a look at the deployment for Chaos and see what they're thinking about facing the Coast. A big, long, thin line, which is probably made to just advance towards the Coast. I mean, if I were playing against the Coast, I would be expecting to have a lot of ranged units. So I would be thinking about how to get to those ranged units and try and take them out of play. But the Coast isn't solely focused on ranged units. I would say it heavily is, but it certainly has some units that can operate outside of a ranged capacity, such as, what do you call the big hermit crabs these days? Leviathans, the Rotting Leviathans. Necrofex Colossus is a ranged unit, but it's also kind of doubles in melee. So it has multifunction. Got lots of options at Lord. You know, you've got Noctilus, you've got Silostra. Salt Spite's pretty crappy, but you got her there as a pick. At least I think she's crappy. Does anybody in the chat think Salt Spite's good? She does have the net, but I'm not a big fan. Aranessa seems kind of meh as one of the lords for the Vampire Coast. I would definitely see myself going with any of the other 3 ahead of her. That's just me. Alright, so battle should be starting shortly. Here it goes, yeah. We can see a deployment here over to the left flank of Chaos. The deck gunners are going to open up immediately and try and get some kills on those warriors with great weapons. I think that's a good choice. These are deck dropper bombers, an interesting variant that I don't see very often. Usually we see the handgun variant. Surprised to not see those. The handgun variant would be very dangerous to Archaon unless he could stay under the protection of his javelin-armed horses. Again, Chaos, it's going to be similar to the other battles in the sense that when it just comes to an infantry slug-out, and this is not surprising, because Chaos is excellent in an infantry slug-out, and from an infantry standpoint, Chaos definitely has the advantage. Silostra would have to use her magic and her monstrous mount here to try and make something of it. She does have some spells on her here. Might be able to make a difference. I was looking, I can't remember what the icon looks like. We got Ghost of the Past, so she can summon the knights. And she does have Van Geist Revenge. Ooh, that burning head right through the Sirens. They are vulnerable to magic damage. And that is rough. The Sirens took a beating. So a rough start here for the coast. Looks like Silostra is going to move here to this left flank of Chaos, but Archaon's also moving that way to help against these units here. Here comes Van Geist Revenge. It might get some good hit right here. I don't know how far it goes. Oh yeah, decimated that warrior with Great Weapon. The Van Geist Revenge coming in hard, but the entire left flank of the coast has already gotten wrapped up. But here's a Depth Guard with polearms. It's a stronger unit. It's not going to really love fighting with some of these Chaos units, so the bombers are trying to get some work done, but the javelins just keep on flying. Silostra is doing her best to buff her troops here, but I kind of think that the coast is in over their head here. In fact, they may be drowning in chaos in order to put some lame puns out there. Get it? Silostra, the drowned? Yeah, I know. It was lame. Let's see what people are saying about Salt Spite. Someone says that Salt Spite does suck less than Tretch. Well, that's true. Well, I don't know. Some people might disagree with you. I've met a few people who actually kind of like Tretch. I'm no fan of Tretch. I think he's pretty bad. But I've met a few people who kind of like using him for certain things. Here comes the damned Knights Errant. It's one of those times when you get to hear air cursing, or at least it sounds like he is, when in fact it's just a noun. But, you know, whatever. You all can still take the opportunity to accuse me and have some fun with it. Silostra still up here in this big brawl. Oh, there's another Van Geist Revenge lined up here. Or no, that's a Burning Head. That's a Burning Head. Yikes, that's gonna hurt. Archaon is... yeah, he's stacking up the damage here. So the coast was already fighting an uphill battle, and that is gonna hurt. Well, you know what they say about it not being over until Silostra sings. And occasionally we do get to hear her sing thanks to the animations from CA. There she goes. I guess that means the battle's over, right? So Pufflick said he wasn't built to beat the Chaos Army. I agree with him, but you know what? He came, and he played his army. And gotta give him credit for doing the honorable thing there, and not just coming up with a counter build, but bringing the army that he had picked, and doing his best with it. Zealot has a pretty good army here. It can be beaten, for sure. Obviously, the way that Zealot's gambling here is to have a ton of infantry that stacks up quite a few numbers, and to have a good amount of mobility, which makes it sometimes difficult for someone to bring down all that infantry, right? The infantry is kind of the challenge. It's like, okay, who's going to come kill my infantry? And who's going to be able to do it while I have 5 units plus Archaon who give me mobility and magic? So I definitely understand the pick for Zealot here. I think it's a pretty good pick for a format like this. Obviously, it's four wins in here. Let's take a look at Silostra. She did manage to get some damage done, to her credit. Definitely better than Salt Spite, in my opinion. Aranessa is getting real salty with me. She is watching from home, watching on Vampire Vision. Yeah, the Pufflix wasn't really built for it here. A good try. Archaon really stacked up some pretty nice damage there. And I think the Horsemen did a good job of keeping those bombers at bay. The bombers could have been some threat to the infantry. I don't know if it would have been enough. But anyway, there we go. So another victory for Zealot. He is 4-0. Tuso Forever has joined in. Let's see here. Yeah, so Tuso Forever is in. He's going to load up his army. He's going dwarves. I love it. I mean, I can't play dwarves to save my life. Or never mind. I don't know what he's loading up here. He's loading up something. So he's going to load up his army. And I got to pick a map here. So let's find another map. One that is not terrible. I need to know more maps. Let's take a look at some of these maps. No, I don't want that one. Don't want that one. This one will work. We'll do Bitter Dunes. So Bitter Dunes, and it is going to be Dwarves versus Chaos. And a Zealot is trying for win number 5. I'm assuming Matt P is Pufflix here. He says, I knew that was going to go badly. I didn't think it would be that bad. Well, hey, you know what? Army picks are a big part of this game. And that's tough in this format, right? Because whatever army you've put together, if you're playing by the rules and you just bring that army, it could just be the wrong army. And so part of this is luck. Part of it is skill at picking a good all-arounder army. And, you know, so it's a little bit... And then, of course, you got to couple that with your ability to manage the game. And so I think there's several factors at play in this game mode. So pick, play, and luck. And you got to hit them all, I think, in order to be successful. Oh, Tuso unready. There it goes. All right. So we are back loading in here. Air, what would I play? Well, I mean, it would be easy to just pick a counter to his army, but that's not this format, right? It would be easy for someone to come in and pick a counter to that army specifically. And with Chaos and Archaon and all that infantry, I mean, you could... There's factions who could easily come in and go toe-to-toe with Chaos with that type of infantry, like the Druki with Executioners and stuff like that. They would be well-equipped. Especially if you bring like War Hydras and stuff like that, it would be difficult for those warriors with great weapons to cut through. So I mean, you could come up with a counter, like I could have crossbow cavalry, and I could bring some Executioners and some other infantry just to kind of hold the line. Crone Hellebron, would do pretty good against that infantry, getting in and supporting infantry, that type of stuff. I mean, you could come up with some counters, but again, that's not really the purpose of this format. But I mean, if I were going to play this format, I have a Druki army that I don't have it built out ahead of time, but I have an army that I would bring. It's just kind of an all-around army. I don't know if it would win, but the Druki are probably, for me, one of my favorite factions to play because I feel like I can cover many bases with them. They do have some weaknesses, but they have kind of an all-around offering as a faction, and to me, it's fairly easy to build kind of an all-around decent army. Magnum Knight says, not used to seeing Chaos win this much, making my plague-addled soul happy. Hope you feel better, Magnum, if you're sick. Chaos is not a bad faction. Obviously, you're going to be seeing Chaos win a lot. Warhammer 3. I mean, there's going to be 4, maybe 5. I mean, if this Chaos faction comes through into Warhammer 3, which I assume it will, right? Because these 4 Chaos factions that we're expecting in Warhammer 3 are each individual faction of the god that they follow, whereas Archaon's faction kind of is looking more like Chaos Undivided. So we could very well have 5 Chaos factions in the game, and then you add in Beastmen, and they're kind of a 6, right? Although they're a little different. But yeah, Chaos is about to get a lot of game time in Game 3 come early next year. We're still waiting on someone to load in. Hopefully no one has dropped. It's taking a very long time to load in. See what happens. We may have had a drop, and we'll just have to try and load into the next one. So Jason Smith says, Air, I got a question if you see this. What motherboard and processor would you suggest for a GTX 1650 Super? I'll upgrade the video card later. So it sounds like you're trying to put together a computer build. 1650 Super probably being one of the few video cards you can purchase right now, and hopefully you get it at a price that isn't ludicrous, because I've seen a lot of them very overpriced. Here's the thing, if you're looking to game, and you're looking for the best value to get gaming, Intel is actually probably better right now. If you were to go get, let's say, a 10400, or sorry, an 11400 or an 11600 i5. The 11400 would be the better value because it'd be a little cheaper. And then you could get a B560 motherboard. You would basically want to just go find one that has good reviews. And if you're wondering what B560 motherboards are good, I would go on YouTube and type in like Hardware Unboxed B560 motherboard or B560 review. Hardware Unboxed is an Australian channel that does a really good job of running down like motherboards and graphics cards and stuff like that. I'm not super familiar with all the B560 boards, but what you would be looking to do, in my opinion, is get all the value you can for gaming. Like an i5 is great for gaming. You shouldn't need anything more than that. And basically, you go get yourself a B560 board. If you think you would ever upgrade later to an unlocked processor, you may want to go with a Z590 or Z490. But I think B560, go to Hardware Unboxed. Looks like this one's going to time out, unfortunately. So we'll have to see here. Zealot is Zero. He's one of the best Chaos players in Warhammer. Well, that makes sense. I've seen replays from Zero before. He is a good player. A lot of good players in this game. Yeah, this one's going to time out. So we'll try and reload it, see what happens. Someone maybe had a disconnect or something. Yeah, Tuso got disconnected. Tuso, if you're able to rejoin, just go ahead and rejoin. And if not, if someone else bounces in, then we'll try and get Tuso back in on the next one. But Zealot's still standing at 4 wins. But yeah. Potato Man. Yeah, timed out. But yeah, so I would go like 11400. The reason why I don't say the 11400F, and be careful when you're looking at Intel processors, F for an Intel processor means that there is no iGPU, that's the integrated graphics. And right now, with graphics cards being so difficult to find, it's risky to buy a processor without integrated graphics, because if your graphics card dies, you literally won't be able to run your computer. So it becomes a big risk. Oh, we got Regina. Got the Ever Queen, Regina here. So yeah, I would look up B560 and then take a look at the 11400. If you have a little more money, the 11600 would be slightly faster. But if all you're doing is gaming, stick with the i5. You don't need to spend money on an i7 or an i9. If all you're doing is gaming, stick with the i5. Intel is a better value right now, just because AMD is slightly better as an offering, and they know it, and they're charging a little more. Now, AMD is totally fine. If you want to go down the AMD route, the 5600X is a spectacular gaming processor. It's really good. You're just going to pay more. And I think you'll get very close performance with the i5 11400 or the 11600, and it'll cost less. And stick to that B560 platform to save you hopefully a little money on the motherboard. And like I said, go check out Hardware Unboxed. Go into YouTube, B560 reviews, Hardware Unboxed. They should be able to tell you, because sometimes motherboards, like the manufacturer, will just make one that sucks. Yeah, sometimes motherboard, like most of the time, they're fine. Like, especially if you're not running like a really high-end chip, overclocked, motherboards are usually fine. But sometimes the manufacturer will just make a really crappy one. And Hardware Unboxed is good about making sure you know if that is the case. I watch them all the time, just to try and keep up with tech stuff. I think they're an excellent tech YouTube channel. But good luck building a computer. It's hard to get a graphics card right now. Very, very hard. Very expensive. Hope that helped. All right. Our Elven Queen has loaded in. I'm going to kind of come over here and mouse over her army. Oh my gosh. This is a Regina army if I've ever seen one. Regina likes unconventional builds with the elves. Unconventional meaning I certainly wouldn't think of these builds. But then again, maybe I'm the weird one and I'm unconventional, and what Regina does is very conventional. I don't know, but yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Ernesto says, motherboards have improved a lot. Used to be a lot of crappy manufacturers around, and they required constant BIOS updates. Yeah, I agree with Ernesto. Most motherboards are pretty good these days. I think it's rare to find one that's a real piece of junk. So you probably wouldn't, like, and especially if you're only running like an i5. Again, if your objective was to buy like a top-end processor and overclock the crap out of it, then you got to be a little more careful about which motherboard you pick. If you're just running a, like a 65-watt i5 part, I mean, almost any motherboard will probably do. But yeah, I agree with Ernesto. Most of them are good. And if it were me, I wouldn't want to waste money, so I'd be looking for a B560 board that has a good feature set at a nice price point. So I'd be looking for the one that gives me the most value at a lower price point, and then picking that, because a motherboard over the long run of a build, it only really makes a difference if you buy one that prevents you from having certain upgrade options later. So like if you buy one with only 2 RAM slots and you end up wanting to have 4. You buy one that doesn't have, like USB Type-C support, and for some reason you really need USB Type-C. You buy one that can't overclock, and later on you really feel like you wanted to overclock, right? So you just, most of the time the motherboard's not going to make a massive difference. And again, especially when you're in that mid-range. So don't waste all your money on it. Get something good, but make sure you get the most features for your money. And I don't know which one that is right now, or else I would tell you, but I just do not know. We got Techless here for the Elves. So Regina's got Fiery Convocation, the Potion, Regrowth, Flock of Doom, a bunch of spells here. Here comes a Fireball from Archaon. Oh, he's taking a shot at the Sisters. Ooh, that was good, because they were in a kind of a blocky formation there, so he got a lot of kills. All right, we got a net here, so Regina is going to try and focus out some of the infantry. Regina's challenge is going to be fending off the Chaos mobility. She's got to protect her archers, and it is going to be difficult. She's only got 1 Silver Helm over here, cavalry-wise, and so she definitely has the firepower to destroy Chaos. Oh, look at, here comes the Burning Head. Here comes that Burning Head. Archaon basically destroys one of these sisters, and this is the risk for Regina's army. Oh! Almost tags another one, so she definitely has the firepower to hurt Chaos very badly, but defending the archers is going to be extremely difficult. Let's have some Sylvan Guard. They'll hold for a good while in a fight. Rangers, not so much. Oh, these sisters need some help here. They're getting caught. The Silver Helm intercepts some Chaos Knights, and they're going to get a Flock of Doom here from Techless. That's a good call. But now we've got a Marauder Horseman getting in behind the fight here. This warrior with great weapon taking some damage. Comes Fiery Convocation, a little bit of damage there on that warrior. Yeah, so Regina has a lot that she has to try and protect, and it's going to be difficult to do so. Again, definitely the firepower is there, but the question is, can you keep it alive? Got a Sylvan Guard chasing this Chaos Knight, which is going to find its way into this fight. If you don't end up with some sisters left, though, killing Archaon is going to be considerably difficult with this build. I do like that they're Sylvan Guard. They're strong, they have some magic resistance. They do some anti-large damage. I don't think they're going to hold up to warriors with great weapons, but they'll hold out longer due to their nice defense. Looks like we got an enfeebling foe on Archaon right now. But then Techless is going to have to flee through the spearmen, try and stay away now. Remember, Techless can get quite a bit of healing in. He's not good in melee, though. Not without his bird. There's still some sisters alive for Regina. And then these rangers over here are still alive, too. Got Chaos Knights breaking through, though. Sylvan Guard is holding up nicely. Kind of expected it to hold out longer. Techless is attempting to do some damage to Archaon, I think. But he is getting wrecked in that fight. Techless has got to get out of there, and get out of there quickly. Almost all of the archers now, though, pinned down, so Teclis is going to lead, but it's because he's routing. Chaos could easily run him down with a Marauder Horsemaster at this point, or Archaon, either one. Wouldn't be surprised to see one of the Horsemasters peel off and chase. Sylvan Guard have that magic resistance, but, I mean, the Burning Head right on top, it's still going to be just too much. So Regina's army here, again, definitely had the firepower to potentially get the job done. It has to be protected for long enough, and if she had done enough damage to the infantry, and then maybe late game, Chaos just ends up, you know, fighting up against a bunch of Sylvan Guard, it could be rough, you know, when they get left maybe with just cavalry against that type of thing. That is going to be a 5th victory for Zealot, so his army is rolling at this point. It is the end times. Can anybody stop Zealot and his end times? Who knows? There's someone can make the stop. So Archaon picking up a ton of value there, and I think a lot of that came from the fact that he fireballed and then Burning Head on those Sisters of Avalorn. Those are expensive units. And then he also did some damage to Teclis, so Archaon doing almost all of the key damage in this battle. Though I would say the cavalry was important because it was helping to tie down those Sisters of Avalorn. So the spells were well placed. I do believe so. I think the spells were actually pretty well placed by both players. Regina had a net that was nice. She had a Fiery Convocation that did some good damage to one of the units. And I think those were both well placed. But then Archaon was spot on with that Fireball. And the Burning Heads definitely did some... Yeah, but the rules, if you're out there building an army and you want to join us, by the way, you can go pre-build your army. Whatever army you pick, if you win and you stay like Zealot has for the last 5 matches... You have to keep playing that army. The only rules are that unit caps are turned on, and it's large funds. You want to join the battle, it's Heirs Battle, and the password is 1. You win, you stay. If not, you can keep challenging. If we run out of challengers, we will let other people start to repeat and come back. It's just that if you come back, have a different army picked for the second time. Okay? So that's probably something to keep an eye on. Ain't No Meaning says, hate to say it, but nothing makes me happier than seeing a batch of elf archers get smoked by a fire spell. Well, then that last battle was for you. Regina, thank you for joining. I love Regina's elven armies. They are fantastic. She is very much in tune with the Aesir. At this point, Zealot is looking like the Ever-Chosen. Who is going to take him down? What's going on, Ragnar? Thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Same you, Legamus. Thanks for being a channel supporter. Ragnar, you as well. Porter, thanks for joining us tonight. Alright, Sunath is getting an army ready. I need to pick a new map. Oh, that one's... well... map has the choke points and stuff. Let me see... what some of these maps look like. Go Schwarzhofen here. I think this one will be alright. It's mostly open. I think it has a couple of rocks in a couple places. Go with Schwarzhofen. Don't think there should be anything wrong with this. Alright, Fuzzy Wuzzy says, Air, how do horses sleep? I'm trying to think of the jokes you could make using neigh, hay. What are the other horse? Naked. Okay, there we go. Horses sleep naked. I knew it was coming. I was trying to think through the words, but I just couldn't quite get it. Thanks, Fuzzy. Appreciate the joke. And folks, we got a new member with us tonight. It's going to be Brandon. Brandon, thank you for being a new member on the channel. Get that sweet bronze Carthage shield next to your name. And you get access to some custom emojis. You can start spamming those out and chat to your heart's content. We've got some fun ones down there. If you all don't mind, help me welcome Brandon and help me thank him for sponsoring the channel. But definitely appreciate you, Brandon. I do have my alert box turned on. There it goes. All right, Brandon's got his name up on screen. Sometimes the alert box craps out. I don't know if it's going to work, but thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you sponsoring the channel. Getting some WA spam there from Ain't No Meaning. I'm going to go drop some WA spam in chat myself. I love the WA spam emoji. That's one of my favorites. It was so well done. Yep. Welcome to the WA, Brandon. How long have you been watching the channel, by the way? I love asking that when people sponsor, or heck, if anybody in the chat just wants to tell me how long you've been watching, I'd love to hear it. I'm old. I've been making YouTube videos for like 12 years. That's okay. I love it. I don't really have any intentions to stop. So it is lizards again. I'll let you all see the lizard army here. I'm not going to call it out, just in case Zealot is listening to the stream. Which, again, is fine. I don't care if they're listening to the stream in the background. Okay, the battle is underway. 4 Saurus warriors up front. Slan, Mage, Priest of Life, supported by a Scar vet. Got a fireball in the air already, and it is going for the Poha Sentinels. And it takes a rider out of the sky. We've got the cohort of Sotek as backup. I don't know if this Lizardman army is going to be able to survive that infantry onslaught. They're going to have to get a lot of work done with their Pterodon riders. And I'm worried the Horsemasters and Marauder Horsemen are going to be able to get a lot of damage done to the Pterodon riders before the Pterodon riders would be able to actually kill them. Then you got to deal with Archaon. And there is a Scarvet on a Carnosaur and a Carnosaur. They are definitely capable of tag-teaming Archaon, so there is a way to kill Archaon. But not only do you have to kill him, you have to kill him and overcome his infantry. And they're going to need some help to overcome that infantry from the Slan Mage, for sure. Yeah, I didn't expect that this skirmish would go well for the Pterodon Riders, and right now it's really not. The Javelins are just higher damage, and they're in greater numbers than the Pterodon Riders. Did a drop rocks right there and did get some kills in. The Pterodon Riders do have nice missile damage, but they're in fewer numbers, and when a model gets taken down, it's going to hurt more than it will for the Horsemasters losing a model. So, I don't know. Pterodon Riders aren't bad. I usually... Oh, man. These skinks got caught by a burning... Had a bit of a risk there for Archaon to drop that, but he was hoping that the attention of the lizards was over here on the Pterodon Riders, and it worked out well. He got some good damage done. That cohort of Sotek. And speaking of, there's a Chaos Knight looking like they might want to charge here. They have made the surrounding overture. Got some skink cohort with javelins. Brandon says he's been watching since Rome Total War. That's awesome. Thanks for being here all these years, Brandon. Really appreciate you. D. Jones says 9 to 10 years. Regina said, been watching since I started watching. Very cryptic, Regina. But when Regina started watching was really when it all began, right? Ragnar says he's been here for a few years. Air streams from his wheelchair. Very much true, ain't no meaning. Ooh, that's going to be a brutal hammer and anvil strike there. You see the Scar veteran coming in to fight. The Carnosaur supporting this other flank, and the Lizards are now facing the full brunt of the Chaos Infantry onslaught here. There are some Marauders, again, outflanking. There are still some Pterodon Riders alive, but they're still trying to deal with those Marauders. Marauder Horsemen and Horsemasters. Kedavis says, since the Rome 2 multiplayer days, man, I played a lot of Rome 2 multiplayer. It was fun. I like Warhammer multiplayer better, but Rome 2 had some fun multiplayer. I just wish that game would have released in a proper form. So that Slan is trying to keep the Feral Carnosaur alive. And he's got the Scar Veteran here, but Chaos just melted the infantry line with the rear charges and the support of Archaon. Going to be a banishment here. That's going to be coming from the Slan Mage. It actually did some damage to some of his own troops here, but he's obviously hoping that it'll do more damage to Chaos as they blob around these remaining units. Slans are very good blob busters. Very good blob busters indeed. Alright, so this battle is looking pretty rough. The Lizards, I don't think they have a way out of this. Even with the ability to do some blob busting, I don't think there's going to be enough there from the Slan to save all this. Archaon looks like he's trying to pick off the Slan Mage, so those dinos are going to have to come give some support real quick. But they're having a hard time doing it because they're just totally surrounded. You see this cavalry here pushing through? The cavalry can use its weight to help hold large units in place. Doesn't always work perfect, but it can work. So they're shielding the old ones here. Dashi says, do you think there will be a new Shogun 3? I doubt it. Especially not anytime soon. But I doubt it. I think Shogun 2 was really successful. No real reason for CA to revisit that one anytime soon, I don't think. We know that they mentioned they're working on another Three Kingdoms game. I don't know what that means. Like, is it fantasy? Is it historical? Is it both? Kind of like Troy? We don't know what it means. They just said they're working on another Three Kingdoms title. I mean, heck, we don't even... I don't know if they specifically said that it was a Total War genre either. I mean, for all we know, they're making, like, Three Kingdoms Total Warrior, or, like, Spartan Total Warrior, that game they made in the past. I have no idea. I doubt it. But again, I'm just saying I'm not sure we've heard for certain on that. So Archaon definitely wants to avoid those Carnosaurs, and he is. This Carnosaur is doing some decent damage against this cavalry, but it's probably just a matter of time before the army losses thing ticks up here, and the Lizards are going to get overwhelmed by Chaos. Brandon says, what do you think the next Warhammer campaign is going to be, if you know? I don't know yet, but I'd like to go find another cool... You know how we did the Empire All-Gun campaign? It was a cool mod, and we did kind of a fun themed campaign with it. I'd kind of like to go find another one like that, if possible. Either that or some kind of challenge campaign, something that gives us a unique challenge. I'll probably, I'm about to finish the Tarox campaign. We're very close to the end of it, and that'll leave me with no Warhammer campaign active. So I will start looking for ideas for a new Warhammer campaign soon. GG, Zealot is now 6-0. This Chaos Army is looking as unstoppable as the end times right now. Thank you for joining in, Sonath, and good fight. Definitely appreciate you. Yeah, his Scar Veteran got some work done there, and some really nice work done by this Feral Carnosaur, 2164. So nice job there. It's just that the infantry collapsed. Yeah, the infantry collapsed way too fast for those two Carnos to be able to help unbury him. Nice rear charges by Zealot with the cavalry. Nice use of Archaon again. This time the damage was a little more spread out amongst his units. So you can see that some of them, kind of spread the damage out there. But again, good game to both players. Thanks, Sonath. Appreciate you joining. All right, Tuso Forever is back. He's going to see if he can make it through the load screen this time. It was not kind to him last time. I need to go pick another map. Let's see. Iron Sand Desert? Yeah, this will work. Iron Sand Desert. Space Penguin says, I don't see the game in the lobby. That happens sometimes. It may be due to the Steam region. I don't think it's bugged because some people are seeing it. There's something weird, and I don't know what it is. So I have no idea why that happens. That's annoying. anybody has any definitive understanding of why that is, I'd love to hear it, but my only guess is maybe the regions. But yeah. Brandon says I used a Dawi gun mod. I forget the name and it was insane. I love me some gun mods. Now someone told me Snek made a gun mod for the Dawi, and I would be tempted. I would definitely be tempted. Dawi Thunder Barge campaign. Now that would be fun. Yeah, I've seen pictures from the Thunder Barge mod. That would be awesome. Alright, so here's the Dawi. I'll let you all start seeing their army as they set up. The Dawi definitely are capable of tanking. They can do tremendous damage from range if they have the right units. However, their infantry is pretty so-so in terms of usually how it stacks up with other infantry. But Dawi infantry, for what it lacks in offensive power, it usually makes up for with armor and leadership. And we'll see how it goes. I am really bad with Dawi in multiplayer. Like, I cannot play them in multiplayer. I've seen some people play them, be pretty decent with them. But they have some real weaknesses that you have to know how to overcome. I'm just not good at picking armies with them. I'm terrible at picking armies with them. They're one of those factions that, it's kind of like the Lizardmen. I'm equally bad at picking Lizardmen armies as I am at Dawi armies in multiplayer. The way their funding works and how they have some units that are very expensive, and then others, you know, it's like you just kind of have to know how to play those two factions. And like I said, I've seen people who can do it, and I am just not great at it. Taking a look over here at the Chaos Army, the way they're deployed, that actually makes a lot of sense considering what they're up against. So Chaos deployed much wider and more spread out this time because he's expecting the Dawi to have some firepower, and he doesn't want to blob his units to be hit by that firepower in any concentrated form. The Dawi have no prayer of holding out in an infantry fight, like absolutely none. They're going to have to do all their damage with ranged units. They have Thunderers. They've got an organ gun back here, but they are also going to have to hold off 5 units of Chaos Cavalry. There's a Gyrocopter with Brimstone gun, which could do a lot of damage to Archaon, and in fact, I mean, I'd be tempted to dispatch it to go after him, but you do have to be very careful. The Marauder Horsemasters, the Gyrocopters are armored, but it won't matter. The Javelins will do their work. So the Dawi are spreading out. I normally like it when the Dawi spread out a little and don't get too blobbed up because it helps their firepower. Oh my gosh. Any unit in a blocky formation, Dawi are even magic resistant. They still took a lot of damage there. They took a lot of damage. It says Travis joined the WA. I don't see it in the chat yet. It could just be my thing going crazy, but if not, Travis, if you're here and you just joined, thanks for joining. Thanks for being a channel sponsor. Sometimes my my thing just goes crazy and starts calling out old sponsorships too, so I don't know which one it is because it looks a little different than usual. But Travis, if you're here, thank you. Appreciate it. And even if you're not here, thank you, and we still appreciate you. Let's take a look at the battle here for a moment. Belagar is the Lord. Felix is here as well. Felix will do okay against infantry. There are some Iron Drakes here with Trollhammers. Oh, they have a good opportunity to hit these Knights as the Knights are trying to finish off the Hammerers quickly. And indeed they should. Those Hammerers are pretty dangerous. Yeah, look at that right there. Marauder Horsemen came in to keep the Iron Drakes busy. The Dawi are, like, yeah, their front line has already completely collapsed. And it's going to be difficult for them to try and hold any type of line here. They do have a Runesmith. Yeah, and here comes the Chaos Knights to finish off that Iron Drake. Do So Forever is in big doo-doo here. This is what I would worry about as the Dwarves. With this many Chaos Infantry, I mean, unless you were just stacked with Longbeards with great weapons, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a hard time because the Chaos can just chop through basically any other infantry very cost-effectively. They would still chop through Longbeards with great weapons. Just that the Longbeards would do a little bit of damage against them in the process. But yeah, Dwarf Infantry, Longbeards are, I guess, okay for their cost, but they're all just kind of bad. But the Dawe, you got to get your damage done from range. And with the way that Chaos spread out, and then moved in from around the flanks with the 5 cavalry units, it's going to make it difficult to get that damage done. Then see, look right here where these javelins are going to be shooting up at the brimstone guns. Armor or not, the javelins are going to get some damage done. There's no shield, and those copters are pretty good-sized targets. Belagar's a tank. He's going to hold for a while, but he can't fight off Archaon. If he was maybe right next to Felix, where he was getting some healing, but Felix has already been destroyed by Archaon. Felix is not great from what I've seen. Like, he does give the healing, and that can occasionally be good, but he's weak. Especially when you compare him to Gotrek. Felix is pretty weak in a melee. I'd like to see Felix do a little bit better in a blob of infantry, but he just doesn't. So Archaon's end times just keep on rolling. The Dawi were not able to stop him. Their organ guns lay dormant on the field, covered in blood. There are skulls for the Skull Throne all over the battlefield, and blood for the Blood God, and also milk for the Cornflakes. The end times continue, as Tuso Forever and his Belagar build also fall victim. So Zealot goes, what is that, 7-0? I think 7-0? Yeah, so Archaon, the value got spread out here. I think this was the unit that got the Iron Drakes, because they're expensive. You can see that the value got spread out because a lot of the Dwarf Infantry fell to the Chaos Infantry. And so let's see here. Belagar not able to, yeah, Felix. See how easily Felix died here? He just got pummeled. Like, I feel like Felix needs to get a little buff. Like, he needs to do a little more splash damage or something in an infantry fight, and then I feel like he would be pretty good. Like, if he did a little more splash damage, I feel like he would be a lot more worth picking. But, yeah, he can give you some heals, but he's just so weak and routes so easy in those fights. You want to see it. The organ gun obviously could have gotten a lot of damage done, but it was going to be difficult to hold off. The gyrocopter, the brimstone gun, was trying. Slayers tried, but yeah, it didn't work out for Tuso's dwarves here. We've got Ghost King coming in. Is he going to bring the Vermintide of Clan Scryer to try and stop the Ever Chosen in his end times? So we'll see. Archaon is unstoppable. And it makes for kind of a fun theme tonight, you know, because he kind of was unstoppable, right? Isn't that what put an end Warhammer Fantasy Battles, was Archaon 1? I don't remember. I don't know the lore. Someone will have to tell me here. Zealot is good at micro. Yes, he is. Yes, very clearly. And that is, like I said, I think there's kind of 3 facets when it comes to Warhammer, right? Army pick, your skill in commanding that army, and then luck. And Zealot is clearly good at 2 of these things. He's made a good pick, and he's clearly got the skill to command the army. So, but those are definitely 3 factors that you're going to be seeing. Oh, I've got to go pick another cycle back to Galbaraz. This will be all right. So, Ghost King and Zealot. Zealot looking for an 8th victory. Ghost King looking to just stop the End Tide, but this time with the Vermintide. And the Vermintide stopped the End Times. Skaven Schemes and Warpstone. This map should be okay. It's got a little bit of terrain in it, but shouldn't be anything that prevents it from being good and playable here. Brian saying, stop this man. We'll see. Zealot is on a roll. All right. So, Take a look at the Skaven Army here. This is a... I like it. I like it. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't know if it's going to win, but I'm enjoying some of what I'm seeing. Skaven is another one that I'm just not great. Like, I love, like, I don't like the Skaven from, like, a lore or, you know, aesthetic or anything like that, because they're gross and disgusting. But I have to admit, Skaven campaigns are pretty fun when you're playing as Ikit Claw or as Throt, because they're laboratory and mutagen lab or whatever they called it with Throt. They're very fun. And Skaven have some ridiculous units in campaign, like Poison Wind Mortars are so stinking good in campaign. Rattling Guns are super fun in campaign. Now, Skaven in multiplayer are kind of a different story because they're obviously kind of a glass cannon, right? They can dish a ton of damage from range, just an absolute crap ton of damage. But they fall apart real quick under the right pressure. They're vulnerable to like cavalry charges and chariots and stuff like that. Having only rat ogres and a couple of other tools at their disposal to try and deal with it. So they have definite downsides. Their top tier infantry, Storm Vermin, are, you know, like all other Skaven infantry, they're pretty subpar compared to other factions, but they come in large numbers. So what the Skaven lack in quality, they try to make up for with quantity and with firepower. In a faction that I am not good with in multiplayer, I think multiplayer for me, I feel most comfortable with the Druki, and then probably I would feel fairly comfortable with the High Elves. Like I can play them okay, but I'm trying to think through other factions. Chaos is fairly understandable for me. I feel like I can play Chaos. Again, I'm not going to be the best Chaos player or something, but I mean, they're understandable. I feel like I can do something with them. All right, so the Plague Claw catapults are going to be good against the infantry. The Warplock Jezzails could try and pick at Archaon, but they better be careful because they're going to be under a lot of pressure. They're already deployed out here on this flank alone. If they're not already running, I have a feeling that they are going to die. So we do have Rattling Guns to try and hold back the infantry up front. And obviously nothing is going to want to charge those Rattling Guns from the front. Yep, the Jezzails are already on the move back towards protection. Oh my gosh. Is it going to work? Oh man, yes. Look at this. Plague Monks absolutely destroyed by a Burning Head. Archaon took the chance, and it paid off big time with 143 kills, 3 Plague Monks basically destroyed all in one go. Got the Rattling Guns firing away now. They are presumably going to be under some big-time pressure from the flanks here soon. One Rattling Gun is being caught by Archaon, with Knights not far behind and only Skaven slaves to protect. We do have a Warlord here. I don't see any magic for the Skaven. So the Skaven have just gone all in on firepower and troop count and left magic in the wind. And they are going to get some damage done with these Rattling Guns, and they need to do all the damage they can do because they are going to have a rough fight ahead of them. A very rough fight. These Jezzails are trying to get away. The Plague Claw catapults are about to be silenced. The Rattling Guns are now being pressured from the front. They did cause a lot of damage to the infantry, as one would expect. But this is how the Skaven cookie crumbles, though, folks. If you don't have the right tools, your infantry crumbles quick. Oh, another beautiful Burning Head. Archaon surpassing 250 kills. Yeesh. He is merciless. 270 kills. Yeah, he said your world will burn, and he's not kidding. So the rat cookie is crumbling. Oh, man. I think that was an explosion ability. Yeah, from the Skaven, but it was timed right when Archaon did his charge, and it kind of made it look like Archaon was hitting him even harder. That is 8 victories for Archaon and his Entide. It was a long shot, folks, but anybody who picks 4 Rattling Guns gets the Air Seal of Approval just for picking 4 Rattling Guns. You may not win the battle, but you win my heart when you pick 4 Rattling Guns. Thanks, Ghost King. Appreciate you playing the battle. Let's take a look at those Rattling Guns, by the way. So 113, 383, 289. So even though they had all that time to fire, and even though they did tear up those infantry units very bad, they still weren't anywhere near paying for themselves, and the Giselles just didn't have the protection. Now, this is an interesting army in the sense that had there been a little bit more to protect, fewer of these type skirmishers could have been interesting, but holding out with Skaven infantry against this type of Chaos infantry onslaught would be difficult. You would definitely need something like a mutant rat ogre or something to help with the Chaos infantry. And as far as Archaon goes, a Hell Pit Abomination would be pretty good. So, I mean, that would definitely be a tough unit for him to chop his way through. Archaon cleaned up a lot of rats here, like a whole lot of rats. All right, Tuso Forever joined back in, which is okay as long as he picks a different army. All right, let's just go ahead. Is he 9-0 now? Is he 8-0, 8-0 or 9-0? I'm losing count. Zealot is just rolling through us tonight. I gotta pick another map, and I need a good one. This'll work. All right. That fire spell, yeah. So the plague monks could have helped a lot. I don't think it would have been enough to swing it, but they would have been helpful. But I mean, they got absolutely rat barbecued by that burning head. There's no way I could defeat this Chaos army with Skaven. I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, even if I tried to pick a counter, I think I would struggle. So, much respect to these players coming in and picking the Skaven, because I can't do it. Thanks for playing that one, Ghost King. Appreciate you. Like I said, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could pick a Skaven army that would win that. Unless I was just like totally cheese counter-picking his army, which again isn't what we're doing tonight, right? Tonight we're supposed to be coming in with an army in mind, and we just play. Like, we're not out there counter-picking. And, if I really wanted to do this for real, I would have people submit 1 or 2 armies to me just so I could know, right, that they weren't building a counter while watching. But since we're not being super serious here, it's okay, right? We're not going to get too worried about it. Yeah, I mean, sure, if I cheesed, like, some kind of, like, super uber cheesy counter with, like, I don't know, a bunch of Doom Flayers. I don't even know if the cost would allow something like that to win. But, I mean, sure, there's units the Skaven have that can hurt infantry, stuff like that, but I would not play well with the Skaven in multiplayer. I just never do. Legamus says, everyone keeps forgetting the Burning Head, and it's been the death touch for you every battle. His Burning Heads have been on par. So, Zealot is definitely been on par with the Burning Head. So it is another Clan Scryer army. The struggle any Skaven army is going to have with this build is you got like a Mack truck of chaos coming in for you as fast as they can go. And your only chance is to like be shooting out the tires, hope you hit the engine. You got to slow that thing down, because if you don't, it's just going to run you straight over when it gets there. So I feel like that's the challenge that Skaven has. I don't know if my redneck analogy makes sense for anybody there, but that's what's happening here with this Chaos army against any Skaven army, is that it's coming straight for you. You can shoot at it, you can do some damage to it, but if you don't do something big and effective, it is going to hit you, and it's just going to roll right on through you. If anybody else is wanting to join, I think we probably have more people who want to take a first shot if Zealot wins. If not, then we'll let Tuso Forever take over. But if you do want to join, the game name is Heirs Battle. The password is 1. And the only rules are that I'm turning unit caps on, and it is large funds. If you want to play, go into the custom battle screen right now while this battle's going on. build your army and save it. So when you come in, you just load your army and let's go. And remember that the objective here isn't to just build some counter to what you see Zealot using. And let's say that you do build a counter and you come and win, but you got to keep using that army, right? You don't get to change your army every match. If you win, you have to keep using the same army. So whatever army you build needs to be versatile. It needs to be something that you can use in multiple scenarios. Okay? Space Penguin says he's been trying. Computer's been out for Ragnar. That stinks, man. Hope it's not a graphics card. Finding a graphics card's a bit like winning the lottery. Alright, so this time we have a Chieftain. And the Chieftain is a nice anti-armor type unit, supported by Ikit Claw on a Doomflayer. There is a unit of Doomflayers over there. Got some Wolf Rats, a lot of Skaven Slaves as the infantry. And there is quite a bit of firepower here. We got the Avalanche Mortars. We've got some Rattling Guns, but again, can they survive the Chaos Onslaught? And look at the deployment here by Zealot. Zealot knows that he could be up against a lot of firepower, and so he has spread wide. And the Skaven are going to be squishy on any given location. So basically, by spreading wide, he can almost guarantee that the Skaven can't do enough damage to key units. Is he looking for a Burning Head? The Skaven have deployed in such a way to make the Burning Head slightly less effective. But I don't think Archaon honestly needs the Burning Head here. All he needs to do is just avoid enough damage by his units. Look here, he's doing a little bit of dodging on those Warplock Jezzails. Maybe just trying to keep their attention here. Looks like Ikit is going to do kind of a charge here into the infantry and try and damage up the infantry. Nice dodge here. Nice dodge. And now Archaon coming over, so Ikit better watch it. Ikit definitely does not want to get tangled up with Archaon, nor do these Doomflayers. I can see what it is that they want to accomplish. They want to damage the infantry prior to the fight. I see, here comes your worry. Archaon's faster. Ooh, yeah, he is gonna wreck Doomflayers. See, now they didn't get a great charge into this infantry, and they're singled out. And with that Skaven leadership, they are in trouble. Nice picking at Archaon, though, with the Warplock Jezzails. Some good damage coming in from the Avalanche Mortars. The Wolf Rats over here, though, trying to stop the Marauder Horsemen. This Warplock Jezzail's in trouble. There is a Skaven Slave Spear trying to stop it. And over here, we're going to see the Rattling Guns being used to slow the cavalry, but got some warriors about to break through the line. The Chieftain's going to move in, try and do some damage. The Rattling Guns have turned to knock down the cavalry, but they can't ignore the front line either. So see, these Chaos Warriors weren't blocked properly, and they got straight through the Rattling Gun. Those are slow-moving units, so remember my analogy earlier to that truck just rolling towards you. And you better slow it down, because if you don't, it's gonna get you. And that's exactly what's happening right here. We got a Brass Orb to try and stop these Chaos Warriors from Ikit Claw. That Avalanche Mortar could have done a ton of damage, but now it's just dead. It's surrounded. And Skaven Slaves are some extremely squishy infantry. They are going to have a difficult time holding up, like, even in the best-case scenarios for them. Because they're just Skaven Slaves. They're not well-motivated units. I like the Chieftain in terms of what damage he could do to the Chaos Infantry, but he can't face down an entire Chaos Army. Some Warp Lightning. Does some really nice damage. So Ikit Claw is just letting loose with all the spells right now, doing all the damage he can do. Because right now he's caught by Archaon, and he is in a bad place in life. Yeah, Archaon's forces are now running off the routing Skaven, so there's really no hope for the Vermintide. So Archaon is going to knock out his second Vermintide. And Zealot continues to be unstoppable. I think we've got time for at least one more person to take a shot at him. If so, let's try and get someone who hasn't taken a shot at him yet. Tuso, thank you. That was a fun try. Thanks for bringing your Vermintide attempt there. and attempting to stop Zealot. No one has been able to accomplish it yet, but we'll see. We'll give someone else a chance here. I gotta find another map. Don't like the look of that one. This one's a bit funky. I don't know if I want to pick that one. We have like a chaos. Oh, the Golden Monolith. I don't remember if it's the Golden Monolith or Golden Monolith. Golden Colossus. I'm looking for a chaos-themed map here. Pack Ice Bay. Oh no, whoever it was got dropped there. Alright, AK-47 in. Looks like he's got a Tomb King's army. Let's do the Mortis Waste. This one's wide open. Fits the Tomb King's theme here. Pillar of Bone. Yeah, folks, whenever a spam account comes in, I'll knock it out, and if Warner's here, he'll do it for me. But the best thing to do is just to not give the bot any attention. We've only had that happen recently, and it hasn't done a whole lot, so... You know the weird thing, though, for YouTube? You know, as either the channel owner or a moderator, YouTube does not give me the option to just literally block an account. Not here in this chat, which is really frustrating. It just only gives me the option to put someone in a timeout, which means if they just sit there and wait, they can come back into it later. It's so stupid. So, like, YouTube, please. I mean, you're so busy making sure that if you have 3 seconds of Disney music, that Disney gets to steal all your income. But when it comes to tools for your creators, yeah, I mean, why have that stuff? I mean, why actually make sure that you're focused on having a great platform when you can just keep trying to copy TikTok and get money for Disney and the other big music companies? YouTube drives me nuts, man. They've got their priorities so backwards that it's not even funny. Yeah, it's funny. I could switch it to sub-only chat, but I don't want to prevent people from being able to chat if they're not subbed. So I don't want to be able to prevent. I want everybody to be able to participate, because honestly, we get like the very occasional troll, and I mean very occasional. So I don't want to put any Silger says, why stream here? Because this is where my audience is at. I've been on YouTube for 12 years. This is where my audience is at. I could stream on Twitch, but Twitch has some of the same issues, to be honest. And yeah, and my audience isn't there. I'd have to take the time to build my audience on Twitch, which I could do. And I haven't ruled out the idea of streaming on Twitch. In fact, I've very much considered it a couple of times. Like, I thought about, for instance, focusing most of my time on streaming, since I enjoy it so much, and just streaming, you know, 3 or 4 nights a week, probably more like 3, then maybe streaming a little longer on a couple nights. And then on my channel, you know, I would still upload a couple of traditional videos, but then I would make most of my videos by taking content from the streams and just cutting it and making videos with it. But yeah, I've definitely thought about it, because Twitch is a better platform, I think, for streamers to go, you know, make a living off of and stuff than YouTube is. YouTube has traffic. They have a ton of viewers and a lot of traffic. So that's one of the advantages of YouTube. And they're obviously, YouTube is definitely a better platform for playing back, you know, like past live streams and uploading videos and stuff like that. I think a combination of YouTube and Twitch is probably the best. But like I said, I'm just streaming here because it's where my audience is at, and that's what I've been doing. So a bit lazy on my part. Look at this Cetra coming straight in here. You better be careful, though. If Archaon catches him, Cetra is going to be straight on that chariot back to the gods and back underground. That chariot is not meant for fighting off the Everchosen. A very, very gutsy opening play here by the Tomb King. Cetra is way overextended. He is in big trouble here. You can see that the Sphinxes are coming to help. The Tomb Kings have got to be careful. They can't get overextended like this. Cetra's in trouble. He's got to cut this way. He's got to cut this way fast, or else those cav are going to close him in, and then this one's already moving to close him in. Is he faster? He's got 84 speed to Archaon's 78, so Cetra is technically faster, but Archaon... This game kind of has a weird thing where your unit can be faster, but the enemy unit will hit charge speed well before they can actually charge you, and they'll stay at charge speed. And so it gets very difficult to outrun units sometimes. So let's take a look at some of the other units. We got an Ashopti with Great Bow, and then we got the Chosen of the Gods, the Ashopti with Great Bow, the 2 Sphinx. Oh, yeah, Cetra's... He's screwed. There's no way out of this cavalry trap now. This is what I was worried about. He definitely should have cut back through that infantry, taken what damage he was going to take, then get back. Because now Zero can basically just pull away from the infantry fight. That's exactly what he's doing. And he's going to come back here and take the opportunity to destroy Cetra. I don't think Cetra has any way out of this. The Marauder Horsemen are faster than he is as well. And they can throw their javelins while moving. Alright, so he's going to make the cut back and maybe try and escape. I don't know if it's going to work. He's going to use the explosion ability, so that was a good try. And he gets loose, at least for the moment. The explosion just can't knock back cavalry the same way it can infantry. So Cetra is... Yeah, he's in a pile. He is in bad shape. I like the idea of Cetra pressuring all of the, Oh, he's gonna put the, Was that a Vortex? I think it was a Vortex. No, it was Dejav's Incantation, never mind. I thought it was a Vortex spell there for a minute. There it is. So he's hoping to maybe do some damage to the blob, since he's gonna die anyway. He does a little. But it's not gonna be worth Cetra's death, for sure. And the Tomb Kings being an undead faction, watch their leadership start to tank with the loss of the Lord there. Well, look at this. The Kimbrian War Sphinx taking out a unit of Chaos Warriors. The Great Bows have continued to fire, doing some damage. But, I mean, the leadership for the Tomb Kings is going to be really tricky to fight against. And with leadership that low, their infantry could crumble even faster under the weight of this Chaos onslaught here. The Ashopti could do well against a number of different targets on the battlefield here. The infantry, Archaon. Like I said, there's a number of different targets which they would do pretty darn well. This Sphinx of Uskef won't want to stay in here with a lot of armor-piercing infantry for too long. Look at that. Burning head. Archaon's just going to sacrifice his own marauders there, and that's a good sacrifice. And then he's going to come after the Kimbrian Sphinx. Sphinx of Uskef is the real danger to Archaon. The Ashopti are firing at the Chaos Knights, and they should be, because there's not a whole lot to stop those Chaos Knights from getting to them. That was kind of a cool kill animation right there on the Sphinx of Uskef. Yeah, the Tomb Kings are in trouble. Archaon is looking to bury them back in the sand from whence they came. I like that the Sphinx of Uskef is coming out here to try and do some protection. It needs to. But at the same time, the infantry is just not going to be able to hold for long, and the Kimbrian War Sphinx, while very potent against the infantry for Chaos, it doesn't have enough support over here. Archaon is launching fireballs, he's done a burning head. We should get a summoned Ushabti sometime soon when the Realm of Souls is full. Yeah, it's about to come up right here. The Chaos Knights have caught the Shabti with Great Bow. The Kimbrian War Sphinx is taking a ton of damage from all this armor-piercing infantry. Like I said, it's good against infantry, but it's got to have some hit point sponges there. Skeletons, the Tomb Guard. It's got to have something to tank some of the infantry attack, or else it too easily becomes the focus. And this prancing kitty cat of the desert just ends up losing out too much. Interesting army here from the Tomb Kings. It had some potential. It definitely had some potential. The Ashopti with the Great Bow can cause a lot of damage. The Sphinx of Uskep is a very dangerous anti-large unit. But Cetra is extremely good against infantry. He just got too far ahead of himself and made a mistake. Now, would he have won otherwise? I don't know. It's still very possible for Chaos to win that fight. But losing your lord early on with Tomb Kings is usually a death knell. It's usually a death knell in your plans. So I believe that is going to be a 10-0 for Zealot. I'm going to be out of time. I won't have time to do any more after this one, though. I do have one more replay of my own that I'm going to share with you all before I go, so don't leave yet. But Zealot, outstanding performance tonight. And someone, I think, mentioned that Zealot was actually 0. And if that's the case, Zealot, get on the Discord, contact me. As a prize for Zealot and for his participation tonight, I'm going to pass out a $20 gift card on Steam to kind of be a prize for Zealot for participating tonight. I didn't want to announce it ahead of time because I didn't know exactly what would happen in this whole thing, but definitely feel like he has earned a prize for this one. So I'll get with Zealot afterwards. Thank you to everybody who challenged him. It was a lot of fun. So like I said, I'll get him a $20 Steam gift card as a gift for winning the battles tonight. And if you all liked this, we can do it again another night, and you all can have some time. What I'll try and do is announce it ahead of time. In fact, how about we just go ahead and announce one for next week, and we'll put another prize on hand, right? I'll give out another Steam gift card next week to whoever wins the most battles, and if there's a tie, we can always have a tiebreaker. So let's do it again next week. Get your armies put together. I'll try and do a little bit more of an official submission this time, so we'll try and get some people to join, and we'll have them submit the army. So the best thing you can do is go join my Discord, and I'll get some of my moderators there to help me out, and we will come up with some rules and stuff like that and try and do it in the next one. But congratulations to Zealot. I do have a replay I thought would be fun for you all just to fill the last few minutes. I didn't know if we'd have time to get other people in a battle. And let's see here. It was this replay I wanted to show you all. If you all don't watch my Beastman campaign, you might get a laugh out of this one. If you've seen the Beastman campaign, then you've seen this. But I ended up in a battle up against Clan Scryer, and I was outnumbered. I think it was almost 7-1, if not 7-1. And it was outside of Skaven Blight with Kazrak. And Kazrak's army is not the most brilliant army here. And I was against Clan Scryer, and remember that Clan Scryer in the campaign can get warp bombs, which is basically like a nuclear missile they call down. And I have a whole bunch of Tuskwar chariots, a giant, Bray Shaman, a beast. Kazrak is also on a chariot. And like I said, the Skaven jumped me here. I was outnumbered about 7-1. You can already see the numbers. I only had 919 troops, and I think the Skaven have almost 7,000 when it's all said and done. And I wanted to show you all this battle because it was very crazy. Very, very crazy. I thought that I could knock out these Skaven reinforcements rather quickly, and just the sheer number of Skaven, and then they just keep coming onto the battlefield because the AI can only have, look at that, Clan Scryer warp nukes me and kills a ton of my infantry right off the bat. I got blobbed up and forgot that Scryer has a warp nuke, so I'm already down like a third of my troops almost. And so the battle is just absolutely massive at this point, and you can see that the Skaven have huge numbers of reinforcements, so this is a true Vermintide situation. Now, most of this Vermintide sucks, they're crappy units, but it's sheer numbers. Look at that, 6,652 total Skaven. I've still got to kill through about 4,500, and I've only got 655 models to my name here. Matt was saying I was hoping for some replays from the last AI battles. You know what? I can make some this week. I'll record some, and I'll record some of the replays from tonight as well. So I'll get some battles up on the channel. I've been behind on getting battles up on the channel, but I'll get caught up. So you all hang tight. Anyway, yeah, we've got this huge Vermintide coming after me, and I'm trying to reposition my troops. Do I ever do a multiplayer earlier? Sam, this is about the earliest I can stream is about 8 p.m. my time, so unfortunately, no. It's always going to be late evening, U.S. time. I wish I could do more. Very, very occasionally, I'll set up a stream for a weekend. It's not something I'm going to do very often, because obviously the weekend is my time to, you know, go relax from work and spend some time with the family. Sam says, got to take care of the baby. Yeah, that's the exact reason. I got to take care of my kids, too. That's why I'm usually on late. Anyway, you can see it's a rough fight for me. I'm down to 468 models, and there's still 4,500 Skaven. Yeah, it is over 7,000, so we were outnumbered over 7 to 1. Over 7 to 1 in this battle. But you can see the Skaven are blobbing. A huge blob of Skaven over here, so I'm hoping that maybe I can play the blob against them, and then my chariots should do extremely good. My giant should do extremely good. Skaven do have some gutter runner slingers, Skaven slave slingers, so I'm a little worried. But this was one of the most, one of the largest outnumbered situations I've ever found myself in a campaign. I had another one with Marathi that was very similar to this against Bretonnia. I made a video out of that one at some point too, but anyway, with Khazrak, I'm just kind of trying to stay in the blob and use terror and use my sorcerer or shamans to good effect, and you can see it is working, but again, I'm down to 334 models. I'm still outnumbered 10 to 1 by the Skaven here, still outnumbered 10 to 1 in terms of what's left, and there's a fair number of skirmishers, and then these routing units, you know, I need to get them off the battlefield, but I'm going to have a hard time doing it. So, I mean, you can see it is going to be just absolutely bonkers trying to finish this battle. Skaven still have their lords here, too. They got a Grey Seer and a Plague Priest still on the battlefield. So I haven't killed their leadership, but I'm now getting an opportunity. But if I sit still with all my troops, their slingers will kill me, or at least do a lot of damage to me. I'm summoning manticores where I can to try and get some work done. I'm fairly close to the white line over here, which is good if I can rout the Skaven troops. But look, they've still got Plague Monk, Censer Bear, Storm Vermin, Halberd, Storm Vermin. This is not just all Skaven slaves. There was a fair number of relatively powerful Skaven units here. Take a look at the numbers. So I've got it down. I'm outnumbered still, like almost 20, or did I say 20? Not 20 to 1. Is it 20 to 1? Yeah, almost. Not quite, but we're still outnumbered badly. Like very, very badly at this point. I got a good Flock of Doom here, though, that's doing a ton of damage. This is ripping a ton of hit points out of the Skaven. The Flock of Doom is really one of my best options, and then I have to keep my chariots moving. These chariots do tremendous damage against infantry. They have a bonus versus infantry, but again, I continue to be under fire from slingers that are all around me. The power bar is only marked as even. Look at this. We're down to 63 unit models against 2,200. 2,200. 34 unit models against 2,150. My giant, though, is not come under a lot of fire, which is good. I've got another Manticore summon. My leaders are on chariots, which do very well against infantry. Khazrak and my Bray Shaman are still very healthy. And I have a fair number of Tuskor chariots left, and the Tuskor chariots are doing tremendous damage to the Skaven. You can see the power bar starts to shift here. I've only got 25 units left. We are cutting down Skaven very, very rapidly. And right here, their leadership kind of starts to collapse. Even the Storm Vermin begin to rout. All the Flock of Doom, the Terror. And their lords start to waver and rout here. And Khazrak actually manages to pull off the victory. 7,400 Skaven against 922 Beastmen. And we managed to pull it off. Just look at the corpses on the battlefield from this one, folks. Look at the carnage. I was pretty certain I was going to lose this at one point. Managed to win it. Now, granted, the AI is utterly incompetent, right? So this wasn't necessarily like, oh, look at Air. Air is just so amazing. No, there was definitely a fair bit of AI utter incompetence here. I made a huge mistake early on, though. I got myself warp bombed and lost a ton of units really early in this battle. So that was also a real blunder on my part. And then in the end, I was really only left with just, you know what? Blob up and hope for the best. And it worked, because my units were able to hold their leadership together. And the chariots, I mean, just look at the damage these chariots did. 262, 315, 232, 218, 308. Our worst chariot was this one here, which only managed to get 61 kills. I don't know if these guys were off in the corner snorting warpstone or something rather than doing their job, but look at the Bray Shaman, 322, Azrak with 221. Bray Shaman was definitely clutch here. I think he got more damage done than any other unit in the battle. The Spawn did pretty well, but they just didn't even really have everything. But yeah, so there you go, over 7,000 Skaven up against 922 Beastmen. It was a fun battle. It just made me really get the Vermintide vibe there. Like whenever you play the Vermintide game, Vermintide 2, and there's Skaven running around everywhere, Beastmen everywhere. They typically are coming after you, the player, though. But I mean, that was a heck of a Vermintide there, and it was a pretty fun, memorable moment from the campaign. Figured you all would enjoy that. Hey, thanks to everybody for joining the stream tonight. Again, appreciate Zealot. I'm going to have him get a hold of me on Discord to collect a prize. I'll have to make sure that I get him added on Steam so that I can buy a gift card for him on Steam. And you know what? We'll do the same thing next week. Go keep an eye on my Discord. I'll work with some of my moderators, and we'll set up a way for you all to come there and join ahead of time. And we'll like pick a certain number of players, and whoever can get the most victories, you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll give out another prize at the end of the next one. I say maybe. I think you all know I will. But yeah, we'll give out a prize on the next one. Have some fun with it. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all next week with some more streams. Tuesday will be some kind of campaign or other stream, and then Thursday is when we'll do this one again. Anyway, I will